So here is Trump on Kilmar, Abrego, Garcia Tuesday. Yesterday's interview was released. Terry Moran doing the first 100 days interview brings up our favorite El Salvadorian.
Let me ask you about one man and one court order. Kilmar Abrego Garcia. He's the Salvadoran man who crossed into this country illegally, but who is under a protective order that he not be sent back to El Salvador. Your government sent him back to El Salvador and acknowledged in court that was a mistake. And now the Supreme Court has upheld an order that you must return him to facilitate his return to the United States. What are you doing to comply?
Well, the lawyer that said it was a mistake was here a long time, was not appointed by us, should not have said that, And just so you understand, the person that you're talking about, you know, you're making this person sound, this is a MS-13 gang member, a tough cookie, been in lots of skirmishes, beat the hell out of his wife, and the wife was petrified to even talk about him, okay? This is not an innocent, wonderful gentleman from Maryland.
I'm not saying he's a good guy. It's about the rule of law. The order from the Supreme Court stands,
sir. You came into our country illegally.
You could get him back. There's a phone on this desk.
I could.
You could pick it up, and with all the power of the presidency, you could call up the president of El Salvador and say, send him back right now.
Now, I'm going to pause right here. Pausing the tape. This is an interesting point in the interview. I personally would have advised Trump not to answer the question this way. He's getting baited. Mark my words. This is going to be news soon. 24, 48 hours a week, tops. This right here, you know, is going to be a point of contention, right, that Trump could allow this person into the country. Could release him essentially from El Salvadorian custody if he was so inclined. The courts are going to make a lot of this. I think the better thing to say is, no, he's in the custody of his home country. They have custody of him. I can't order his release. And this is something that every administration official up until this point has been saying. That's the right line to say. So Trump here, my opinion, may have stepped in it a little bit, but I'll explain in a minute here. Let me finish the clip here so you understand the full context, and I'll definitely tell you why I think it's not going to be that big of a problem.
Yeah. And if he were the gentleman that you say he is, I would do that.
But the court has ordered you to facilitate that.
I'm not the one making this decision. We have lawyers that don't want to do this.
But the buck stops in this office.
No. I was elected to take care of a problem. It was a unforced error that was made by a very incompetent man, a man that turned out to be incompetent, that you always said was wonderful, great genius, right? And now you find out, all of the media now, they're saying what a mistake they made. A man who was grossly incompetent allowed us to have open borders where millions of people flowed in. I campaigned on that issue. I wouldn't say it was my #1 issue, but it was pretty close.
Right up there.
I campaigned on that issue. I've done an amazing job. I have closed borders. He said you couldn't do it. You wouldn't be able to do it. It would never happen. Well, it happened, and it happened very quickly. Wait a minute. When we have criminals, murderers, criminals in this country, we have to get them out, and we're doing it.
Everything Trump is doing is a political question. You pretend that it is court-driven. Unfortunately, you weren't awake or paying attention during the Biden years. Biden routinely ignored what the courts told him to do. The only remedy against a president going rogue, I suppose, is what? Impeachment. That's the prescribed, solution to stopping a rogue president. Trump here has, again, very keen political instincts. It really doesn't matter what the Supreme Court says or doesn't say. At the end of the day, he brings it back in each of these questions. Notice how he brings it back to the voters, and if Trump is popular among the base and the flabby middle of the country, at least some of it. Trump knows this. He's not arguing the finer points of law with this dingleberry. He's talking to the voters about what they care about.